Hello everyone, this is Charles and Sybil with Striking Conversations, and we're here with Love Dare Day number 9.
And number 9 says, love makes good impressions.
Our scripture for today is 1 Peter 5 and 14. Greet one another with a kiss of love. Smooches.
Hey, you know, Sybil and I have begun to work on the tangible and the intangible. We know about those tangible forms of love, you know, a touch, something that's tactile, something that we can feel. But I've gotten to the place where I want her to feel my emotions. Now that's a work for me because as a guy sometimes I don't know if I'm that externally emotional all the time. You know, at times I am, you know me, but I don't know about all the time. So I want her to feel my love as though it could reach out as an invisible hand and touch her, that she can actually, you know, am I touching you? As the kids say, I'm not touching you. But you can just feel the finger.
That is hilarious. One thing that they say here is that you can tell a lot about the state of a couple's relationship from the way they greet one another. You can see it in their expression and countenance and even how they speak to each other. It is even more obvious by their physical contact.
And isn't it funny nowadays that people act as though if people hold hands like they're faking or something? You know, is it something's wrong with holding hands and being in love, you know, in public? I'm not talking about throwing them down and just, you know, throwing them down. But I'm talking about just holding hands. And I love to see older couples holding hands.
That's great.
Oh, it's just so beautiful because that expression of love just says something and creates a connection. Trust me, there's something powerful about the touch.
And even when you're sitting next to each other and you're putting your hand on your husband's leg or something, you know, people just really, you know, just don't take all that.
And how are you going to tell me what it takes?
You see?
You follow me?
That's the question.
I ain't on a diet. I don't do diets anyway. I don't like to do anything with the word diet.
I've thought about that. You're hilarious. The Bible has a lot to say about greetings. And really it's more than we can even expect sometimes, because we don't really read the Bible to see how we should greet each other.
Yeah.
You know, that's not a subject. You know, we have a lot of subjects, but I don't know if that's a subject that we have. But it talks about the Apostle Paul and how he told his readers to greet each other with a kiss and greet each other warmly.
Oh yeah. Throughout the Bible, every time you see Paul, he always begins with a greeting, that is, and he ends with salutation or at the end. Did I use the right word?
Salutations.
Salutations. That's right. I just want to make sure I was using the right word. I should have known from Charlotte's Web. Salutations.
Salutations.
But you know, he greeted with that kind of kiss. How are you greeting your wife? How are you greeting your husband first thing in the morning? How are you setting that day off in the morning? I said, you know, when you greet somebody, and the book talks about when you begin to greet your spouse in the right way, it gives them a sense of value.
And it really does, because we all understand that it takes energy and thought to greet me in any kind of positive way. It's not just a knee-jerk reaction. That's something that you do on purpose, like we've been talking about. Being married on purpose and with purpose. And it talks about how you may not even think about how you greet your spouse in the morning when you wake up. You know, we don't think about that. Or how you look when you get in the car, or even the tone in your voice when you're talking on the phone. All of these things can really make your spouse's day if you express them in a loving kind of way.
Hey, and you know what? It's really not foreign to us, because when we were dating, we did all the right greeting.
Yeah,
you know,
did.
We were trying to greet them so we could have a meeting. But it goes on to talk about, think about how you greet people at work. Think about how you greet people at church. You practice greeting other people all the time.
Right.
So do we greet our spouses the same way we greet each other? Do we pay the same types of attention and kind of attention to those greetings?
And it talks about how that a good greeting sets the stage for a healthy and positive interaction. Like love, a positive greeting would put wind in your sails.
The wind beneath my wings.
All right.
Chicken wing.
Chicken wing.
And it hit me, I wrote this, I said, how you meet, greet, and treat your spouse provides a seat for expectancy. So you begin to expect things as to how you're greeted in the morning. You greet her with love and affection and tenderness and empathy for what she's about to go through for that whole day, man. You know she's got enough way before you have probably getting the kids ready and everything. Greet her with the kind of love that says, baby, I respect you and I appreciate everything that you do for us on a day-to-day basis. Sometimes going along as the unsung hero of our family, but know that you're the heroine. You're definitely the wind beneath my wings, honey.
That's awesome. Thank you, Boo. A loving greeting can bless your spouse through what they see, hear, and feel. And you can think about how you greet each other when you come through the door. How do you greet each other when you meet for lunch? What do you do? What is your nighttime before you go to bed? How do you end your day with your spouse? All of these things are very important.
Oh, it sets up an atmosphere for consistent excitement.
Consistent.
Because when you had a tough day, when I've had a tough day, I just call Mom on the phone and say, baby, I'm having a challenging day today. Say something to me. Just anything. Say you love me. And sometimes I don't have any time or there's not enough time for her to say anything, but I love you. And boy, I tell you, even though I love the Lord, He heard my cry. He pitied all my groans. I need to hear Mama say, I love you sometimes.
And by the way, I'm Mama, y'all.
That's right.
Think about your greeting. Do you use it well? You know, they said, does your spouse feel appreciated and valued? Do they feel loved? Even when you're not getting along so well, a greeting can lessen the veracity or the temperament that's going on in the environment.
And here it takes us back to something we've been talking about, Sybil, this whole time. Doing things on purpose.
Right.
And people would make you think that if you have to do things on purpose, it's not of the heart. I tell you this, when you do things on purpose, it takes heart to do it. You can't do it on purpose without putting a heart into it.
That's right. And it says, once again, remember, love is a choice, so choose to change your greeting. Choose to love.
Absolutely. Make that choice, men. Make that choice, ladies, to do something maybe that you've never done before. I'll tell you what, this brings us to the end of today's Dare. And what does it say at the end, honey?
Think of a specific way you'd like to greet your spouse today. Do it with a smile and with enthusiasm. Then determine to change your greeting to reflect your love for them.
I love you.
I love you too.
As I look deep into your eyes.
Deeply.
Waiting until tomorrow. Day 10, when it is love is unconditional.
So go out to Striking Conversations and join us in the classroom there. We have blogs, we have forums. You can catch us on Facebook, YouTube. Just come and be a part of our community. We love you.
We love you. Have a great day.
Bye.